Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in our YouTube channel. I am Tayyib, Chief Financial Advisor and founder of Fenoves Management from sunny Los Angeles, California. Today I would like you to take you to the first step toward building your wealth and become a millionaire or even billionaire. Financial plan can get really complicated and may have many moving parts that need people like me to help you through that. But you can specifically work on that on your own, at least, put your personal finance in control. And sometimes the simplest strategies actually work the best. With that in mind, today I'm going to be discussing the basic financial plan that you should implement at your everyday life. So let's get started. But before we get going, to be sure that you like this video, and if you haven't already, as it really does help out the channel a lot, and subscribe with notification on for more money related video like this one. Every single week I try to upload one video that relates to the money related topics. And if you want to have further info how we can help you in your financial life, contact us for free at the number below to discuss your specific goals, issues, or concern. You can also check out our website in the description or below to see how we can help you to achieve your financial goals and dreams. At first, it may be a little bit difficult to believe that you can set up your financial plan yourself with this video, but it really can. That's not to say that you can't go further into things to make a longer financial plan with us or another, for example, financial advisor, to get more customized one, more complex or detailed plan with many built-in saving and wealth management solutions. But certainly you can do it on your own, and for many people that can be actually very beneficial. So let's start to see how we can actually create that one. Any successful financial plan starts with a few basic things to help you understand why money is important to you. Then we will make it a living document, since life and your financial goals always change. You probably know that from time to time, and as a result, so your financial plan also change as well. And we will let you know where you are today and where you want to go tomorrow and how you can get there. That's the financial plan. This is a part is usually where the bulk of our time is spent, and then where things like budget, investing into retirement strategies, and balance sheet come into play. But with those things in mind, let's walk through how we can actually put together the hypothetical financial plan that actually work for people like me and you. Assume you're both, let's be young, 25 years old, childless, and together you take home, for example, 60,000 a year, and you can adjust it as we go. The first thing you need to figure out on your financial plan to work is why money is important to you. In other words, you are going to need to figure out, put your values and prioritize them, as well as that you can later allocate the proper amount of money in the budget to each of those categories that you like. Now we are going to have simplify this a bit. So this video, I don't want this video to get really long, as we go through that one. But let's say that you want to have a date night, once a week, to make sure that to raise a family in your home, or for the kids, you want to pay for the kids' college later, or travel at least once a year, and you want to also reach financial independence when you are actually at age 55, and your income at least become $50,000 per year at that time. When you dig deeper, you find that you both grow up in a household where money was very tight and caused lots of stress, which is case of lots of us, I imagine, as well as you don't want your kids to grow up in the kind of environment, so you're willing to hold off on having a kids for a couple of years. So while we build up your solid financial foundation, then you can have a kid that will be able to support your family when that time comes. You also saw that what happened to your grandparents, maybe when they retired with little funds to support themselves. So you develop a strong desire to make sure that your future is taken care of, so that your children and grandchildren don't have to support you financially, and your spouse in later life. That doesn't make sense. You should be able to be independent at those ages. From this highly simplified version of goals, we can see that the bulk of your values, are family and relationship driven when you be having an eye of future as well. If you were put it in simply, we would say that money seems to be important to you because it gives you freedom to have the time and adventures with the people you love the most, both now and the future. That's the probably main thing. Next thing you need to know that to create a financial, you need to create two things: create a financial balance sheet and also create an emotional balance sheet. A financial balance sheet is exactly what you expect. It's a list of your current assets and liabilities that you put together. And we're going to talk about the liabilities and assets, for example, in other videos as we go through that one. But an emotional balance sheet is a similar, but instead of listing the financial assets and liabilities, it is a listing of emotional assets and liabilities. This could include anything from the sort of the emotional debt that we can rack up from constantly working long hours and never making a time to be with your partner, to help around the house, and to the emotional asset that build up by taking your partner out to the dinner. That become an emotional asset. It has a value. Or a movie, or you want to take your, for example, part of the movie, or organizing a game night with your friends. These are all has an emotional asset to you. This kind of discussion really can lead actually, when you think about, for example, the marriage, lead up to lots of old resentment bubbling up from underneath of the surface. So it is important to remember that this discussion is not being held to blame each other, or things in the past. It is here for two reasons. First, learn more about what your partner really care about beyond just the money. Money should be there for your happiness and peace of mind. It is important to learn what makes you happiest and what hurt you the most. By this, you can much more effectively create a strong and long-lasting, enjoyable relationship with your partner. This conversation can be very tough sometimes, and to have, but has the benefit of it can be a huge, especially over a long term, that you understand each other properly. Second thing, this discussion is here to help us plan how to strengthen our emotional balance sheet. It is one thing to know what to do, and it is another thing to actually do it. It is important to make a plan of action for your, for example, emotional balance sheet, as well as, for example, you're listing those off. After you have gotten all of your values and priorities figured out in your financial and emotional balance sheet, you can start to decide where your money is going to be spent. Assume investing for future was the most important financial goal for you today. You want to be able to take advantage of compounding interest. As Warren Buffett said, this is the seventh wonder of the world, the compounding interest, as much as possible. And while you're young and don't have a kid, yet to suffer, because you can save more money here. Therefore, you decide to save really aggressively. Some people actually save 100% of their income or 50% of income until you have the kids. You cannot live through that. And so that once you have a family, you don't have to worry quite as much as about making so much room for investing. That's very important. When you're young, try to invest as much as possible, more and more, because it's going to help you in the future. And assume you will need about $1.25 million, for example, in your savings once you turn 50 to financially independent with the $50,000 a year income. That's according to the 4% rule that, for example, I discussed in some other videos. And if you want to manage to earn fairly conservative, 7% percentage of rate of return on your investment between now and then, which is quite possible to do even after inflation, and you manage over, say, 50% of your income for 3 years before having kids at 26 or 27 years old, you can take a foot off the gas pedal and cut your investment down to much more, 10% or 15% of your income for the rest of your working years when you have a kid. That then you put majority of, for example, saving toward the new houses for your family, as well as taking care of the other goals that you may have come up along the way, because goals sometimes change, and how you manage to save 50% of your income, preferably without giving up those weekly date nights, because you can't forget the importance of emotional balance. So you can't forget, for example, emotion of the family that you have. And here is totally up to you. You can initially you can do the rent hack or house hack, or we're gonna talk about it later. Also, you could carpool. You could try some minimalist living strategies. You will cover, for example, that we will cover in this channel later. We will also lay out a few tips beyond that in other videos that which prove be really helpful to the saving you. Let's talk about some of those tricks. First trick is that we have already discussed, is prioritizing your goals and separating needs from wants. You have had that conversation with you, and you know that's what's important for you to become a lot easier to skip out the things that you are less important to you, and which can lead up to big saving down the road, to be honest with you. The second trick is, of course, is to automate your saving. This is one of the huge everyday life uh, plan, because it is much easier to make a decision to save money once and then never have to make a decision again. And then it is day to day you save that automatically. That's going to be incredibly really help you. And when you go into the mall, you don't have that money to spend because you already saved that one. That's going to help you a lot. And you have set up a saving in such a way that you never actually see the money. It becomes much harder to actually spend it. Something like annuity spending, annuity investment, or life insurance saving that we're going to talk about later in some of the other videos. The third is use windfalls to your advantage. Many of us probably get tax refund or some kind of, for example, inheritance or something at some point. It is very important that you use this one-time, windfall that come to you as advantage. The average federal tax refund was about, for example, I think it was 2,700, something like that. And according to, according to one of the newspapers, and assume every single year you invest that one and you earn 7% from when your financial plan age 23 that you get your tax refund. When you turn 55, you have accumulated almost $350,000 on its own. That's all because of only that tax refund that you have, which is about 25% of your, for example, your full financial independence. So that's very important to save those money. The fourth tip is known as 72-hour test. 72-hour test actually basically force you to hold off on spending money that is not urgent need, at least for 72 hours. After 72 hours, you still want to think that you were considering buying as much as you did when you first saw that, by all means, then you buy it. But if not, don't buy it, this one. You cannot even guess how much money these tips actually save you over the years. And it is really effective because, it's basically eliminated impulse buys for you entirely. A fifth tip is spending, called it spending cleans. This is very similar in many respects to the 72-hour test, in the sense that it forces you to wait to spend, but the spending cleans takes it further. You voluntarily decide to not to spend any money again that is an urgent need for a predetermined amount of time, like for example a week or a month, and some people, for example, go after that. And you can also turn it into the sort of game with your, other people that, for example, after you hit initial goal, try to save, for example, for more time. This actually help you stop spending money that is not important and become a habit, and the result actually is amazing. And beyond saving, it is important to invest. However, it is incredibly difficult, if not possible, to create a truly one-size-fits-all investing plan for everybody. But I lay out a few things that everyone should strive for making investment decision. But these are not by any means exactly a standard investing plan that for example, we create we call it IPS for everybody. It is just to strive. For example, you need to invest money, so this is how you reasonably can invest the money. This is very important because the impact of saving rate on our journey to financial independence, which is something we'll discuss on this channel and later also, that it is very important with no doubts. It has more value than actually how much rate of return you can get from your investment. So you need to save more rather than thinking about, for example, rate of return. So it isn't the amount of money you make in a year, it is a percentage of your income that you save in a year consider to take, for example, that's important. So the more percentage you can actually save, your better financial freedom. Assume you take home $60,000 a year and you want to retire at the same level of income that when you are, for example, working at 55. Assuming 7% rate of return in a saving rate of a 10% of your income, you would be financially independent in 40 years. But if you increase the rate of the saving just from 10% to 15%, you would cut your time to financial by 6 years down to 34 years. And if you go to extreme, instead of 15% of your income, you're actually doing 20%, you go to 14 years. So you can see the saving rate can make tremendous difference in how long it takes you to reach your financial independence. And second thing that is always advised you to strive is to keep your cost as low as possible on all aspects of your life. Know your affordability, enjoy your life, but you know how much you can afford. Don't enjoy beyond your affordability. That doesn't make sense. And the third thing that I advise all of my clients to be well diversified in all of your assets, from house, car, collectibles, especially your investment, because that's important. Such as if you want to also investments such as bond, cryptocurrency, mutual fund, index fund, and so on. And one of the main tasks that I always tackle as a part of, for example, our wealth management solution is to diversify my client asset, and you should do the same. And never put your all or measure of money in one type of investment. The type of investment and the allocation size reasonably well depend on your goals and risk profile and risk tolerance, to be honest with you. But if you, for example, if you have no risk tolerance, you can research to put your money in a life insurance saving plans, or fixed index annuity, or treasuries, or government bonds, and we can actually have most of those, and we give you also insight on all of those as we go through more videos here. But the good thing is that there are lots of good choices. I recommend either you yourself heavily investigate your various options, or let professional like me help you through all of your options based on your current investment risk profile and short-term and long-term goals. You may also invest your money in comparatively low-cost options with generally solid returns, with solid diversity, which is designed to perform in a way to meet your financial goals. And the final thing that I always recommend when it comes to investing is to consider paying off your debt, because sometimes paying some of the debt is much better than investing any investment, because they have a better rate of return, to be honest with you. And probably debt is the only investment that has a guaranteed payoff. And some of the high interest rate debt, like credit cards, or can carry lots of interest far higher than you can imagine any investment return and actually investment vehicle can give you. And that we all covering the other videos here. So there is also added benefit of being able to invest more of your income each month once your debt are paid off, that you can have a pretty substantial effect on how quickly you grow your net worth or wealth over time, as we just saw the impact of saving rates, how quickly you reach your financial independence. So that was a simple financial plan, to be honest with you, considering your emotional balance sheet that hopefully can navigate you through first step through building your wealth. And that's it. Let me know about in the comments section below that what you think about it. And that's all from today. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, to be sure to smash the like button if you haven't, and if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and also hit the bell next to the name of the channel, that you will be notified of all of the future upload. And I generally try to upload every single week, and if you have a friend that you think that is interested in this kind of content, be sure to share it with them. Let's get this information out there and start your own financial revolution. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful one.